So, coronavirus shut down our schools, and that sucks. Some of you guys don't have minutes, some of you guys don't have social media, some of you guys don't like being at home, and they're just like, you know what, that doesn't matter. And it kind of does, because I love all of you, and a lot of you don't need to deal with all this trash. And yeah, and I won't get to see you guys for a whole month, which is awful, because you guys make me have a 10 times better life.
Hey, welcome to DressSwat TV. We are here to talk about the effects of isolation, depression, and suicide among teenagers. And our special guest is Meryl. Meryl is a 15-year-old student who last Sunday, April 19th, ended up losing the fight here on our earth, and she went to be an angel. She was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, to Rochelle and Jonathan. She was a freshman in Owen County High School, where she was in the marching band. She was incredibly musically gifted, playing trumpet, piano, guitar, and ukulele, many of those self-taught. She loved art and photography and entertaining others, and she won her middle school talent show with her comedic routine. So at this time, we're going to introduce her mom, Rochelle, and we're going to let her talk a little bit about what has happened in her life the last week and how it has changed her family.
Well, first of all, just thank you so much for having me here to be able to kind of tell Meryl's story, because I think we all, the more of each other's stories we hear, the more we learn about ourselves. And Meryl is quite a story. She, beautiful, beautiful girl. I will say the after effects of things this week, I already knew how great she was, but an outpouring of like fellow students, her friends, community, even more so, because Meryl kind of got so much from helping other people, because she struggled so hard to help herself with depression. So in a way, making others laugh, she knew what pain was. She knew what hurt was. So her making other people laugh and bringing them through their pain really, in a way, helped her through her own. That was like her big, that's how she kind of made it through. And just like a little bit of background to kind of get a little bit of an idea. You talked about Meryl doing like interest. She was, in a comedy. She had a stand-up comedy routine, and she was in 6th grade, and for the talent show. And I mean, here's a girl that, she's a chubby girl. She got made fun of daily for dressing like a boy. Those type of things. And she was just like, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to do this. I'm going to make people laugh, on my terms. They're not going to laugh at me. They're going to laugh with me, that type of thing. And I would have been petrified, and I don't know how any 6th grade girl could do it, but she did, and she floored him. She nailed it, and she had them rolling. And she won. And she won a talent show that year, and they'd never had anything like that. And she was just a force. She really was. Just so funny. Always, when she was around people, she had a smile on her face. It's when she wasn't that she had the hardest time. So the most recent, obviously, effects being that, school's been out for over a month now, and just the isolation for her just kind of was like a perfect storm. And a few things kind of led this direction, but I mean, she actually posted and made her own videos, video journaling almost every day, several times a day. And she, talked about how she's going to get through this. How can I not see my friends for a month? And people are saying it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. And these are my people. Like, this is how I get through. And we actually talked a lot about it, her and I, and how we could make things better. So she busied herself coming to the aid of other kids kind of during that time, always checking in, trying to text them, making sure they're okay. She was like hyper vigilant about that because I think she wanted that for herself too. She wanted like people to check in and show her that that she mattered and that they cared for her. And she did that for other people. So, and I've kind of talked to a few people about not just the isolation, because, the double whammy is that she couldn't be with her friends. So, this virus kind of has separated people, but they couldn't separate her from social media. And so she was getting the negative effects of, people can still say bad things about you to you and everyone in your class through social media. So you still have that negative impact, but you don't have the positive one that you need to bounce back from it. And I think it just, in the end, it just became too much for her. And it just became too hard. So she, I think, taught us all a great deal. And that was what she always wanted to do. And just being here today, talking to these young ladies and you, and just like continuing that. I'm like, if I could be half the advocate that she was at 15, that's probably the best thing I could ever do. So just bringing awareness on several things that I knew she struggled with.
No, I agree. We did talk about too with social media, and you girls can attest to, it's easy for people to be very mean on social media. And, does anybody have an example of like Emma, Kenzie, Zoe, or Bethany of, the world is not nice. It doesn't matter. There's always mean people out there, but I truly believe this is a time that we need to be supportive. And we did talk about, not seeing your friends and losing some of the opportunities that you guys did have in school. And with Meryl being such a musical person, that's more like outgoing. And sometimes the ones that you truly don't feel are suffering, they don't feel comfortable talking to their parents. So therefore they reach out to their family members. They reach out to friends, and that's their circle, that's their comfort zone. And, it's hard. And if we can figure out how to help these girls or help, anybody, as far as realizing that there is an option and bringing light upon the tragedy that, of Meryl's passing, and how we can, help other people as far as on our social media. And, bullying is not great. It's terrible. And I think that everybody now with social media, you have more of a platform that you can see it more. And I think that it's very detrimental to somebody's psyche. Nobody wants to feel as if they don't belong. Everybody wants to feel like they're part of something. And, it's very difficult for some young teenagers, not even just teenagers, it's even adults, on trying to be able to, feel they want to be accepted. And, and I think that it doesn't matter, and that's one thing about Dress Thought. We're about, making every woman feel beautiful, regardless age, sex, orientation. It does not matter, because you're beautiful in your skin, and beauty comes from within, right? We all talked about that. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much what you look like on the outside, it's what you can spread joy to other people. Let's take a look at Robin Williams. He was a comedian that nobody would have known that he was dealing with his own demons inside. And when that came across, it was very, very shocking, because you would think that, oh man, he's the funniest guy. He has everything by the, everything in the world he could want, but he was really, suffering inside. And that just shows you, even with Kate Spade, I mean, that just shows you that money does not bring happiness. Having goods does not bring happiness. What brings happiness is how you deal with yourself. You have to love yourself first. And it's so hard, and it's an everyday battle. And I'm sure, we're going to ask some of you guys, something that you feel that you have to struggle with every day. So Kenzie, we're going to kind of start with you. Give us an example of something that that you deal with every day, that you could bring light upon the whole situation too. And let's keep Meryl's spirit going to help other teens.
Okay. Like, what are you asking? Like, what I struggle with?
Yes, because everybody struggles with something.
I struggle with anxiety, like very bad anxiety. Like, I have like really bad panic attacks, and I faint sometimes. And this year in speech class, we had to write a thing, like a story about what we're scared of. And I said anxiety, and I finally came out, and I finally told the world that I have named my anxiety. It's a monster because it takes over me so much. But like, having people there with me has always been a comfort, and someone who also has anxiety, they can feel how I'm feeling right now. So like, talking with other people with that anxiety, it makes me feel better that I'm not alone. I have someone with me all the time. I like don't know what to say, because I'm like, because like Meryl's story, like what she said, like that is like so sad to me, and I like that just like hit me, because I have like a lot of friends who are kind of depressed and stuff, and I like try to check up with them every day, because I just don't know what I would do without them. And you saying that story like just took a turn to me. So
Okay. So Emma, we're going to go to you, honey.
Something I guess you could say is a struggle is, for me, I've always been such a perfectionist when it comes to life. And I mean, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but for me, it was always pretty bad, because especially in school and stuff, I always, I wanted to get that 100%, and I always thought to myself, if you don't do that, why did you waste your time? You're wasting yourself if you're not getting every possible detail in, I wanted to look perfect all the time. I thought, if someone commented, your clothes don't look good today, that was going to be the absolute end of the world for me. Yeah, her story is really hitting me too. I have a sister who struggled with depression for a really long time, and I was really young to know what that was like. She's significantly older than I am, and thankfully she's doing okay right now, but I get worried for her because she lives far away now, so I don't have contact with her as much as I think I should. And yeah, I worry about her a lot. So, but yeah, I like to talk to people, especially my friends, which is hard right now, about things that if I am struggling with, I didn't do great on like a test or a quiz now and then, I do like to talk it over with people, and they'd say, Emma, you know what, just go get them next time. You'll be fine the next time round. Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now.
No, but that's why we're talking, because it's just showing that no matter where you're at, everybody's dealing with something. And it's just like, how can we help everybody? How could we have helped Meryl to be able, before she felt like she had no other option? But we got to be able to, keep her spirit going. And you guys can see how you've never met her, but you can relate to her. That's what this is all about. So we're going to go to Zoe.
I struggle with like feeling that I need to fit in, because like I feel like what I wear is different, or I'm like a jokester, and I just feel like that like I get judged sometimes for those kind of things. But I mean, I have really supportive friends, which really helps. It is hard, but I think that I finally feel now that I I'm I fit in no matter what. So it's very hard, but just having people there to support you and to, talk to your friends really helps.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult because everybody deals with certain things and you have to kind of get like a thick skin. And, sometimes, having that thick skin, even though you're breaking down inside, you're just like, let me out. Somebody just help me, and, I mean, you guys can probably all attest to something in your, teenage life or even childhood growing up that kids are mean. Kids are bullies, kids are mean, and they're not kind. And you just don't understand why you have to be so mean to people. Everybody's trying to make it through life on a daily basis, and we all should be helping each other versus tearing each other down. But I always learned that the ones that are being mean, they're dealing with their own issues inside, and that makes them feel better if they're putting somebody else down. And that's where that's where I get to point. If someone's nasty to me, it's like they're dealing with their own issues. So Bethany, we're going to go to you, honey.
Okay, well, mine's, I feel like, very different than everyone else's, because while like a lot of mine deals with behind the screen, so since my entire life is basically TikTok now, like I get I get a lot of like, I don't get too much hate, but I do get hate. And as soon as I see a comment on a video that's like even the slightest bit like mean, I'm like, okay, I gotta take the video down. But like the video could have like 20K views, and I'm like, I have to take it down. Like I can't like see this comment, like this video is bad because of this. So, or like I'll see one of my friends' videos get like 40,000 views, but mine will get like 20,000, and then I'm like, okay, I need to delete it. Like it's not good enough. Like it needs to be like a certain point. But I think for me, that's kind of been like a major struggle is just like numbers and seeing like, okay, I need to keep growing. I need to keep getting better. I need to get bigger. Like this isn't doing it. But I also know that like the following that I do have, they're absolutely amazing and the most supportive people ever. So that's very nice, but I still feel very anxious when I don't see the numbers that I'd like.
So basically it can relate, Meryl's story can relate to you as well, because, Snapchat was used for nasty messages, and that's where we get back into social media. And with you doing your TikTok, you've had positive, but you also have nasty comments, and it's just like, and that messes you up regardless, because you're like, I'm not good enough. That video wasn't good enough. I got to redo it again. So therefore that has affected you, on a different level, and that you're not feeling that you're holding up to what you feel like you can. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that pretty much sum it up.
Yeah.
So all four of you guys, can take a piece of Meryl's life as to what she has gone through, and you can see if you bring all four of you guys together and just think of that's everything that Meryl was dealing with, just the pressures that she had, and she lived her life. I watched some videos, but she lived her life to make other people happy. She lived her life to put smiles on other people's faces, because that made her feel good. That made her feel worthy. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, honey, but it just that that was her mission, to make other teens feel better, even though she was hurting inside, We have her aunt, Christina, on. Can you give us a little bit of background about your relationship with Meryl and just some positive things about your niece?
Yes, I can. I live very far away from my family. I live on on the Gulf Coast, and they all live in Kentucky, and I do not get to see my family near as much as I would like to. But I did get to spend a day in between Christmas and New Year's with them at my brother's house. He called, and we all went down and spent 2 days together in Pennsylvania, and I got a lot of time with the girls. And I'm glad I did, because I feel like I needed that, because I wasn't getting to see my nieces grow up, and I hadn't gotten to see them in so long. But to see all their personalities, especially Meryl's, and the way she interacted with everybody, and you really can't do justice when you say she was just there for others, constantly trying to make us smile and constantly trying to make us laugh. And I never would have known that she was hurting inside based on what you see on the outer appearances, and that scares me, because I can look at my own kids and wonder, okay, what they look like, they're okay, but are they really okay? Mine are all a little bit older, but at the same time, it scares me to think that it could happen, to anybody, and you don't know it. And when Meryl passed, and I put some posts up about her, I could not believe the number of messages that I got from other parents, band parents, because my kids were all band kids too, that were like, Christina, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. This happened just last week during the isolation, and I had no idea. And it was, these kids are really struggling. And I feel bad, because before this happened, I thought, like everybody else who's an adult, thought this is not that big of a deal. Y'all would be fine without seeing your friends. You've got Facebook, and you've got TikTok, and you've got Snapchat. So you've got more ways to interact than we did when we were kids. But that's not enough when you're somebody like Meryl, and you needed to be able to be there for other people. And she couldn't. She was stuck at home by herself. And not by herself. She had her family, but I mean, let's face it, that's not what kids need. It's just their family. They need their support system. They need the people that they can talk to when they can't talk to us, And so when this happened, it just kind of really hit hard on how, I guess, maybe naive I've been in thinking that even during this crisis and other times, that things are okay when maybe they're not for people. And so now I just really want to focus on that, and I want to help Rochelle keep her memory alive, because she was such a sweet girl. I'm sorry. She really was. And she was so beautiful on the inside and on the outside. And she didn't let it show that things were getting to her. She always had this positive spirit, and those 2 days of watching all my nieces and nephews together, it just meant the world to me. And I hate that I can't be with my family now. This isolation thing is killing me, that I can't go up there and be with my family, but I love them all, and I just want her memory to stay alive.
Well, what have you guys created that we can help share with all of our teen followers, to keep her memory alive and to help others?
Well, we have 2 pages right now, one on Facebook and one on Instagram. Instagram is #DoItForMeryl, and Rochelle will be posting pictures and things like that of the various things that represent Meryl and the positive things that she did and things like that. And then we have a Facebook page that is also Do It For Meryl, and she'll be posting things that we come up with and resources that we find, and just anything that we think can help kids. And we want them to know that they can message us, they can comment, they can send stuff anonymously and ask for help if they need, and they won't be judged. We want to get the word out there that they're not alone. I've had many of my daughter's friends call me about stuff, things that they didn't want to talk to their parents about. And now that I think about it, I'm sure my kids have done the same thing with their parents. So if they're looking for someone outside, that they're going to have people there for them. And we've got to stop this. No one should bury the child.
No, I totally agree. And I think if you guys I did some research prior to coming on today's call, and I got this from the World Health Organization. And just kind of think about this: it's one person dies every 40 seconds from suicide. So as we've been talking, I mean, that's what, 5, 6. So it's just it is a real pandemic actually we have in this country as far as suicide and people feeling as if that's their only way out. And it's challenging and it's hard. And like, one person can make a movement, but it needs a whole group of everybody to be able to help out and keep that positive going. We're going to talk to my Dr. Newhouse. She's a licensed psychologist, and she's going to tell us a little bit as far as what to look out for, like how we can help the teens, just some things that we can do to our friends, even if because mostly you find the ones that, again, like Robin Williams, again, like Kate Spade, they have the world there and they ended up taking their life. Like Meryl, she was a happy-go-lucky child. And, as her aunt said, she didn't realize, you couldn't tell. And I have come to find, because I will even tell you personally myself, there was times that I am a very good actress. Nobody knows if I'm down in the dumps or not, because I portray something different than sometimes what I'm truly feeling. And that's where it becomes dangerous. So, Nicole, if you want to kind of give us some background of what you do and, just tell how we can, help somebody out there.
First of all, thank you for having me, Rochelle and Christina. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing your story and all the teens that are sharing their stories. I think just talking about this is a huge step in raising awareness and just kind of getting this out into the open. I'm a licensed psychologist, as Carrie Ann said. I live in Maryland. I've been practicing for about 15 years. I work with adolescents for the most part. So I see kind of a lot of the difficulties that you all were talking about. Adolescence is a time when it's developmentally appropriate and normal for teens to want to, your primary social connections, family is important, but your primary social connections are your peers. That's what we do as adolescents, because you're separating from the family unit and kind of sort of developing your own independence and individuality. So this is normal for kids to want to be with their peers. As Carrie Ann mentioned, we do know that there is a suicide epidemic. I mean, the suicide rates are increasing. I think I just saw a statistic earlier today that in the last 10 years, the suicide rates have increased 30 to 35%. It's an epidemic. And you mentioned Kate Spade and Robin Williams, and you think these people that have everything, you just don't know what's going on in the inside, because they're taking care of other people and they don't want to portray what their struggles are. I heard around the time that Kate Spade passed away, a colleague said, she put it so well, she really, they have everything to live for. Depression, when you're depressed, your brain literally lies to yourself. Your brain is lying to you, telling you that you're worthless. And that's what depression does. And if you, become then kind of hopeless, then you are at risk for, for doing something that you can really, really hurt yourself. So, and the isolation with the pandemic is certainly making this worse. I think, none of us have seen anything like this, the pandemic before. And so, we're all filled with fear and anxiety, loneliness. Our routines have been disrupted. And you're right, adolescents have FaceTime and Skype and Zoom and Snapchat and all the ways to communicate with one another, which is true. But as you all were talking about, it's very easy for someone behind a screen to put out something that's really hurtful to masses. And so it's really still not that personal level of communication, kind of interpersonal. So, so we're all kind of feeling kind of overwhelmed and stressed. And so and everyone reacts differently to stressors like this. And so some things to really focus on are self-care. We need to really take care of ourselves, and we really need to take care of each other, our family, and our community. We can't physically be with one another, but you can call or, set up some kind of video call and kind of check in on one another, and just, make sure that we're kind of reaching out. As far as coping during the pandemic, it may seem overly simplistic, but these are things that kind of slide by the wayside when we have no routine because everything's shut down. But we need to remember to make sure we're sleeping on a schedule, some sort of schedule. Make sure we're sleeping, make sure we're eating relatively well-ish. Hydrate, kind of limit caffeine, limit alcohol if you're of age. Take breaks from social media and the news. The news can be really, really heavy right now because there's a lot of scary stuff getting pumped out. And so you want to take a break from that because it's a lot to take in. And taking a break from social media is advisable. It can certainly help to just kind of be mentally freeing. It's really important to find what feeds your soul and do that, as much as we can when we're in isolation. So, find something that makes you feel good and do it. And try to move your body. When we're isolated and we're feeling badly, it can be, you kind of don't want to get off the couch and go do something, but even a 10-minute walk can really boost your mood, boost your energy, and really kind of, be helpful. As far as resources, first of all, I want to mention, and so we're all this is a stressful time. We're all kind of feeling stressed. If you're concerned about, we need to, look out for our friends, family, peers, everyone in our circles. And so if you notice in yourself or someone else that your eating habits are disrupted, no appetite or eating a lot more, you're sleeping a lot or very, very little. If you hear someone talking about wanting to end their life, feeling hopeless, feeling like they don't have anything to live for, changes in personality, maybe feeling like being more angry or irritable, being more withdrawn, losing interest in things that you used to enjoy, kind of erratic behavior, and just really feelings of hopelessness. These are symptoms of kind of depressed mood and can roll into kind of risk factors for suicide. So if you see someone doing any of these behaviors, you want to check in and just, asking about suicidal thoughts does not cause suicide. Asking about suicidal thoughts, or if you're having low mood or having dark thoughts, actually can facilitate the communication, kind of open up the channel so that someone may then kind of disclose how they're feeling, and then you have an opportunity to get help. So just really kind of emotional support and encouragement, and I think we can't be physically together, and it's really, really difficult, but in all the other ways that we can connect, we need to keep doing that. It's really critical right now. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number, I just wanted to share, it's 800-273-TALK, TALK, that's 8255, and you can also text the word TALK to 741-741, and it's free and confidential, and they've beefed up their resources right now because they know in isolation people are struggling, and so there are a lot more, they can hook you up with crisis resources, or just kind of be someone to kind of feel what you're feeling and hear you out, and just then so you feel heard. Again, free and confidential. And then I just came across an app today, as a matter of fact, that the Department of Veterans Affairs put out, and it's really good. It's called COVID Coach, COVID Coach. It's in the App Store, and it has a wealth of resources for people of different ages, for parents, for adolescents, for different struggles, and it hooks you up. You can track your mood. It connects you with resources. So it's a really good resource that I just kind of came across today. It's a free app. I just installed on my phone, and it's pretty nice. So I know those are just some things kind of overall to kind of just keep in mind. We can get through this. We just need to, just take care of ourselves and take care of one another, and keep the hope alive, and just keep the communication going. As long as we're kind of checking on one another, it can certainly help. because you never know when someone's in a low spot, and you might just hop in and kind of give them hope. So I don't know. Those are the kind of things I've been thinking about during all of this.
Oh, thank you. And I think, showing kindness, because kindness, I mean, that's what this world, life is hard enough as it is, and we don't need anything else to bring on to fight. I mean, it's a fight every single day, just, to be able to do what you want to do and be able to make, your life what it needs. I mean, especially now, even with finances, I mean, there's going to be more, because with a lot of people losing their jobs, I mean, millions of people collecting unemployment and not being able to pay their bills, that's going to increase suicide. So this just doesn't stop with teens. This is going to go into adults. It's going to go, even into further, awareness that we can try to help somebody. And that's the whole reason why we brought the Teen Talk TV together, is because as you guys have, all shared, a background on how you can relate to something that you deal with, because you don't have to, it's okay to be vulnerable, and I think that's where everybody tries to be tough. Everybody tries to, they don't want somebody to see what they're truly feeling inside, because they feel like maybe it's a sign of weakness. But you certainly, I think that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to let somebody know that if you're really not doing okay, that seek help. That's very important. I had a cousin who passed away through suicide, and it's hard. I mean, it's kind of like a relief for them, but they left the whole family here, and it's where the family's trying to figure out, how could I have helped? Did I miss something? Or I would just love to be able to just have one more moment to see if I could have helped you. And that's where there's a lot of struggle there too, because it just doesn't affect them. It affects a whole entire dynamic, parts of the family, and you're not going to be the same. You just kind of go through and you learn how to adapt to the new environment. But your heart still, as Christina said, no parent should not have to bury their child. That's not how it's to work. So I'm asking all of my teens that if we can all, go on, share, Do It for Meryl on Instagram, like her page, also on Facebook. Let's get the word out, and, let's try to see, check in with your friends. As we all get off today, everyone's going to go their separate ways until we meet up again next Friday. Okay. That's a whole week. That's a lot of time. And there may be days you guys are by yourself. There may be days that, your friends their parents are still working and they're by themselves all day. How can you make a difference? Just sometimes, and I always thought, you never know what somebody's going through on a daily basis, but if you can say hi to somebody, you know what, you can totally change their whole entire world, and you may never even know it. Mm-hmm. And that's a miracle in itself. Just saying hi and being kind. There's no reason to be bullying. There's no reason to make anybody feel anything less than what they are, because that's not why we're here. We're here to love. Love is the most important thing. And then no matter what money we have, no matter where we go, our status or anything, sex, age, whatever, it's all about the human connection and how we lift each other up. And that's what's important. And I know it's not going to bring your daughter back, but certainly from Dressot Teen Talk, we hope that we can share her life and try to help others and spread her as an angel to other people and get her story out, because she seemed as if she was a remarkable girl. And I truly believe from her positive spirit, it will live on, and we'll be able to, let people know who Meryl was and how we can make a difference. And, just wish we would have been able to meet her and not under these circumstances, because I think we would have all saw how beautiful of a person she was. So is there anything you would like to say, honey?
I just, again, want to thank you for having me on here and kind of just breathing some of her life, and sharing it and letting other people kind of feel. feel her. So much to
No,
learn.
And that's the amazing part, because even though we can't physically see her, she's still here and she's still spreading her love and she's still bringing people together. I mean, you saw it right here. She touched my 4 girls and my girls never even met her. And that in itself, to me, that's a beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
And I thank Christina, Dr. Newhouse, and of course you, my love, for coming on and spending the time with us. This was a very informative, and we're dedicating the show to Meryl in her honor, and we will be having pictures and her videos playing on our broadcast, as well as we'll be having the suicide number play throughout our whole entire broadcast that we have. So I thank you very much for everything. Remember that this is Carrie Ann from Dressot TV. Remember to love yourself, be kind, embrace who you are, embrace your curves, and you know what? Never give up. And if you feel as if you cannot go forward, please reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of my teams. You can reach out to the 1-800 suicide number that we'll have posted below. And just remember, do not feel alone, because there is somebody out there that is just waiting to have you touch them, or in some way, or if you do need help or need to feel uplifted, there is somebody there that is willing to listen. So please don't feel that suicide is the only way out, because it's not. It's just that's a moment in time. If you step back and you take a deep breath, and let's see how we can work through it and talk to somebody how you're feeling. Being vulnerable is okay, but really talk to your family, talk to your friends, because there's so many beautiful people out there that, have taken their lives and, really need to be, should have been stayed here on this earth. And, so we're going to continue spreading Meryl's story and, spreading light in her honor. So thank you very much. Remember, love who you are. Carrie Ann, out.